number 551. My name is John Morgan, and for the first time in like a month, Cold Coffee is with me.
I'm here.
I'm telling you, episode 551, it might as well be episode number 1. I feel like we're starting fresh all over again. I haven't seen you in forever. 4 weeks apart, I believe, since the last time we were together. But the show did go on.
The show goes on.
Through a heroic effort of your own, which, by the way, I thought you did a fantastic job in the all coffee episode.
Still healing up from that one.
I thought you did a fantastic job. I think you've settled into the role very nicely there. And then, as I tried to point out to everybody, the weeks that it was just me, that was not your fault, by the way. You did not dump things on me to do it by myself.
I tried.
You were there. You were like, I can do this time. I can do that time. And I just kept having to tell you, bro, I don't know what my day is going to look like. It changes from minute to minute depending on what phone call I get, depending on what happens here on fight week, depending on what is developing. So it's a little bit challenging, but
we made it work.
We made it work.
It's funny because like as the week would go on, I was like, I know he's getting his fight night. I was like, is this fight night for him? I was like, oh shoot, it's Thursday. Oh shit, okay, well no, he's got to fight tomorrow. Oh shoot, it's Friday. I was like, well fuck, we got to get something done. I was like, what are we doing? And then. Obviously, our friends over at Patreon always keeping us humble, and sending messages like, guys, is the streak over? I'm like, no, we're going to get it. We'll get there.
We appreciate everybody's patience. Obviously, this has been a big adjustment, a good adjustment period. Obviously, man.
It's good you guys are being busy.
Busy, man. Good. We had a 4-week stretch with CFFC, man. We did Philadelphia, North Dakota, Atlantic City, and Tampa in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
And so basically, 3 of them out on the East Coast, 1 basically north. It's funny, out of all of them, North Dakota is probably the easiest for me to get to, even though it's the most remote place, because it's a straight shot from here. Like, it's easy. I just go, it's like a less than 2-hour flight to Denver, less than 2-hour flight from Denver to one of the connecting airports. Then you do have like a little hour and a half drive, whatever, but whatever. It's not that big a deal. But the other ones, going out to Philadelphia, going out to Atlantic City, going out to Tampa, I've been taking like the red eyes, so that way I can like spend Tuesday with my family, leave Tuesday night, and then hit there Wednesday morning. But bro, them red eyes don't hit the same anymore. We used to. I mean, I think of all the years that we covered the UFC, and we'd hit the red eye and jump off and go straight to media day. Let's bang out these 14 interviews and let's go. And now, man, I get there in the morning. I'm like, yo, hold on, man. Before we start talking, like,
I need some coffee.
Let me get a little coffee. Like, man, let me see if I can get my hotel room so I can take a quick shower. Like, God, my shoulders hurting a little bit from sitting in that chair all night long. It's a whole different thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole different
getting old is fun, but being busy is good. That's good that you guys have been busy.
And it's so much fun, man. It's and I don't want to make it ever seem like, oh, I'm doing all. No, we've got a great team of people, but I'm learning from everything. So I'm trying to get caught up on all the different departments and all the different areas, and so trying to involve myself as much as I can, and just miss the knowledge base that these guys have had years in their positions to learn their systems and learn the process. How do the medicals get cleared? Who do you talk to when this gets done? How does what does the weigh-in setup look like? What do you have to do with the commission? And this commission is different than that commission, and what just all these different things. And but it's fun, man. Being on this side of it after so many years of bottom line, being a fan when I first started out, and then getting into media and doing all that we did with MMA Junkie and building that to where it is and where it continues to go, and then switching over to the operations side of it, and still getting into the commentary. It's a blast. I will say, like, normally, like fight days especially, when I was just doing commentary, like I was basically just like hanging around all day, like watching tape, like getting my notes together, just sit, and on the East Coast, if the first fight's at 7, we might not have a report time till like 5:30 p.m. So I'm literally just like hanging out, maybe get a little nap in the afternoon, just kicking it. Like now it's like no, I need to be over at the venue at 10 a.m. and we got to get all this stuff set up, and then 8 hours into the day, that's when we're going on air. You know what I mean? Which is fun, man. But it's
you're like, where's makeup? I need makeup.
Well, and then I have to. Do I bring my suit with me? Do I wear like my slacks and then just put the shirt on once I'm there? Like when I'm working all day.
Well, if you don't bring the suit, do you do like the whole like Can I get a runner to go get my suit and bring me my suit? Like, do they go into the hotel room to get it? Do you give them a card?
We're not quite on that level just yet, right? Like what do they got at the Apex now? Where they got like a whole green room and dressing room, and they bring the suits to them. Like, the guys when you have to travel with their suits, like
they get it taken care of. It's all steamed down. It's all good. You got dudes like when Justin Bernard a lot of times is sitting there. He just does the. It's funny because he was joking today. He's like, I don't even have to do intros. I just do the winner. And then he's like, this is so much easy, so fun. He'll be sitting there and makeup will come up while he's sitting at the table. Let me just touch up. I was like, bro.
Coming along.
What's going on?
From the Tough Enough days where we were doing shows at the Orleans Ballroom. Just, I mean, oh, man. It's cool to see how we've all evolved and how this thing has grown. And, Justin Bernard, great example. I was thinking about, like, Justin Bernard, we always talk about like Tough Enough's role and the people that they brought up and the people that they did in the area, but it wasn't just fighters. They always obviously brag about the fighters that have gone through the system, rightfully so. But like Justin Bernard, I think about the referees like Mark Smith, Chris Trione. I used to see Junichiro Kamijo was always judging at all the events. When I first moved here back in like 2008, now they're doing UFC stuff. It's fun, man. It's cool. It's a small world,
It's a small world. It's came a long way. Speaking of, and we can get to it later on, but speaking of refs. When we saw Dana after the Contender Series, one of the things I asked him about, because there were some killer fights on this past week.
Boy, I was good.
The refs did a really good job of letting some fights go. Refs get a lot of criticism when they stop things short or when they do let things go too long when somebody's obviously not in a good position. But we saw some really good instances of fighters that got, like that Marwan guy, Rahiki,
right?
Got folded. Got folded with that first punch, but the kid recovered from it, was intelligently defending himself, and then the kid came back and had a fucking stellar win on it, So, that just got me thinking about refs. I know a lot of times we talk about refs, but I want to say, like, some of the refs that have come along have really good moments when things just work out perfect and it was good. And I want to make sure I gave Dana a point to be able to say something, because he's quick to shit on the ones that do, but I don't think we get enough praise from him at times when refs actually do a good job. And I think those guys need to hear that so that they keep doing what they are doing, and that others look at them and say, why is this guy getting praised? What did he do that I'm not doing, or whatever? But
it was, man, I was going to touch on that. So I missed the last 2 weeks of Contender Series.
Yeah.
Back to back, just absolutely insane week.
Incredible.
So I'm thinking maybe I just can't ever go to a Contender Series event again. It was me. It was my energy that was preventing these types of incredible fights.
There was a stinker heavyweight fight in the mix, but besides that, you're right. It was absolutely incredible. I want to give praise because you're spot on. Because Mark Smith, who I've always thought Mark Smith is a phenomenal official. Again, he is somebody that I've seen come from the amateur ranks and Tough Enough, and he always. Once you learn of his background, you understand why he carries himself with such professionalism at all times and that sort of thing. But Mark Smith, and then Eric McMahon, obviously. Eric McMahon. He's come a long way.
He's come a long way, too,
and he's getting a lot of reps over there.
A lot of reps, man.
I didn't even realize he was coming, because normally if you're there, you're like, oh, Eric's going to be here, whatever. Yep. But I looked up there, I was like, there he is again. I was like, he's getting reps.
It's pretty cool to see the growth that he's having as well. And he's getting included in Power Slap. And there's been talks about UFC BJJ because he is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. So there's been talks about maybe that being a possibility as well. So, and he was involved in one of those amazing fights as well. But I did want to give both those guys praise. But I did want to ask you, because I will say, and you and I always joked at like the people that complain about the atmosphere, like, what are you talking about? It's still a fight. But I will say, both those fights in particular from the past 2 weeks, the atmosphere came through the TV. I was watching on replays, but man, so live.
People. I mean, we don't. And I heard you talking about it in the last episode. We don't normally clap on press row, but like literally everybody in the whole venue, the people in the stands stood up and were clapping. I didn't stand up, but I was clapping. Dana and them stood up and were clapping, giving them a standing ovation. It was incredible, but it was happening round by round on some of the fights as well. It wasn't like they just waited till the winner was done.
Right.
Legit after the round, people were like, oh my goodness. You could feel it. You knew that something amazing happened. But the same thing happened when we had the ladies, both ladies got contracts.
Yes.
There's been certain fights this season that were just like, regardless. I know, because Dana even sort of said it, people were like, oh, is that one of the best fights on the Contender Series? Dana was like, that was one of the best fights Contender Series. That's just one of the best fights
ever
that I've seen.
Period.
regardless of what level that it is. And that's what's so cool about it. So, yeah, it's at the apex. It's not full of in front of crowds, but you're literally seeing, like, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner type effort to get a fight. And the fact that, when the two gentlemen that finished fighting, Dana was like, you're not even taking them into the thing. Like, I'm just going to go see him in their room. And he's like, both guys are getting contracts or whatever. Both guys getting bonuses. The fact that he told that's not something that unfortunately is going to seem to make its way as a regular thing. When Dana was asked about it, was like, hey, is this something that's going to happen? He, kind of said, like, it was just such a spur of the moment. The fight brought it out of me. We were so, enthused by it.
Stirred that emotion.
Because it stirred the emotion, And so I like the fact that he's like, I want to be driven to that occasion to get something instead of just making it a, okay, well, at the end of the night, I'm going to give out this, $100,000 worth of bonus.
Right.
On one side, it's cool if you know that the extra $100,000 is getting put out to fighters, but you also know that there is a threshold that if somebody is able to touch the hearts of the people watching, you could possibly get something. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So what was something that they didn't do now has been established that it can, in fact, happen.
If you can elevate yourself to that level.
And, I mean, it was incredible. I mean, like, seeing fights like what we've seen in the past couple weeks and even some of the ones this year, I felt like the B. Joe Pyfer was go out there and just show yourself. It wasn't even about, both fighters, about a guy that rose on the occasion that night, took the platform, made a name for himself, and Dana was like, please, guys, be like that. What we're seeing is beyond what the B. Joe Pyfer was. Like, these guys are literally, that's like, hey, be Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. Make something that's going to be memorable that people are going to talk about for years. People talk about the phrase B. Joe Pyfer, but I can't even remember the fight.
Right.
I can remember these fights. Granted, they're much more recent.
Yeah, but I know
still,
what you're saying.
Like these fights and some of these efforts that these people are putting on, it's amazing. And whether it's, I don't need 12,000 people in the arena to tell me what I saw was amazing.
Right.
I don't need the affirmation of, oh, okay, do I really feel this? Was this really good? I can watch the fight and say, oh my God, that was absolutely incredible. I want to applaud that. I don't need thousands of people. Some people need the whole atmosphere for it to rise to a certain level for them, I guess, or maybe for it to just translate on TV. And I get that. Because remember when they used to try to pipe in fucking noise when nobody was able to go to the events?
Yeah, that was weird.
And then they just
Super
stopped
weird.
doing that shit.
They're like, let's not do that.
But they were trying to help evoke that emotion that some people, it's hard to get sometimes on the TV if you don't get that sort of thing. But if you just focus out of that and just watch purely the action that's happening, it doesn't matter where it is. Like the old tough gym it was so raw. But when you think of the Apex looks loads above more professional, like as a venue, than what the Tough Garage was. Like that was raw, whatever. But were people bitching about I don't remember people bitching like they are now.
It's the weirdest thing ever. Yeah, because nobody ever bitches about Contender Series. They only bitch about the UFC, right? Yeah. Which is weird, but I get it. It is what it is. But I guess. So there's two things, I guess, that kind of leads to follow-up, and that is both the Apex and Contender Series. So I guess let's start with the Apex because I haven't been there in several weeks. But I saw the post-fight with Dana that you guys were able to speak to Dana White. First time he's come since I think the first episode.
Dude, he stayed away from us.
It probably makes sense. He probably doesn't need to be there every week. He probably wants to let it be about the
athletes. We've said that a long time. Like Dana's been to be a CEO of a company that puts you out in front of media and in front of cameras.
Yeah,
it never really happened. We were just so used to it that everybody was like, well, I can't believe he's not coming to talk to us. I was like, bro, when was the last time you went to Kroger's or whatever? Like, can I talk to your CEO? I expect to be able to see the CEO when I come here. It's like
this wheat bread that you brought here. It's so true. All right, but so there was some Apex discussion he said, and I remember
had to get the dirt update.
You've been sending those. I always try to retweet him and try to give that some love so people can see the construction. The exterior has been done for a while. I do love the fact that they updated the B-roll in most of the packages so that you're no longer showing year-old scenics that didn't show the construction. I will say the outside of it, even though it's not completely completely in use yet, it's nice. It's much more visually appealing than it used to be. You've got an entrance for the media and a separate entrance for like a grand entrance for fans and that sort of thing.
Now they route the cars so that there's a path that the cars have to go to drop off for like Uber drop-offs in
that
the
used
front.
to be the weird thing because nobody like knew where to go for Uber and stuff.
They just pulled right in front of the door, which would be like the press door, and it would literally would just be a log jam now if they did it.
Now you got ride sharing, and it is. So I guess we're hopeful because Dana did say it's supposed to be done in a couple of weeks. I don't know, but I haven't seen any tickets for sale yet. So I don't know how long it's going to take to really. I mean, I guess there's 3 more Apex events, right? There's November 1st, November 8th, and then December 13th.
Like 13th, yes.
So there's 3 more Apex events. I guess we'll hold out hope. Maybe December 13th might be a good.
I was figuring
run.
December would have been the time, because they're still. Yeah, I mean, like last time we had heard, they were still getting fine details on like fire permits and stuff like that. Stuff that people look at the construction, everybody's just only thinking seats. Where are they going to seats? And then they had to worry about the bathrums. But they have to make sure that all the codes are passed, all the permits and all the other little things. Yeah, that nobody thinks about.
So like the fact that like for the VIPs over there, they've never been able to they can't bring food. They can't bring food from the Apex where they have a full kitchen over there. They have to order it from a restaurant because the way like licensing is as far as like
so
food
weird.
that you're serving. There's so many different permits and things. So people don't think about it. So I guess we're holding out hope that the construction will be done perhaps by November 1st, but that we won't necessarily see the full fan or maybe even the full seating set.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm hopeful for. Now, you and I, again, we like the Apex. It's very close in proximity. I do understand how it looks different on TV. I get that.
Yep.
But I will say, like, for the UFC BJJ events where everything's elevated, even when they had Power Slap events in there, again, where everything was elevated, just that elevation brings a different energy, brings a different feel. So I think when they get this done and there's seats all the way around and it's risers, you're not just seeing empty walls behind, you're seeing fans all the way around. And hopefully, and again, and I've said this too, I don't think it's just about getting more bodies in there. I think it's about getting the right bodies in there, like actual fans, right? You know what I mean? Not friends and family only or VIPs only.
Well, even then, you would hope that they are able to keep them, like, you can come and stay. Not hey, you got to get up and,
you got your one seat.
Leave.
Like,
we only have so many seats, which has always been kind of shitty, but that would be nice. But but having the right fans that know that they paid to get there or they know how special that moment is. Everybody I've ever talked to that got given a ticket or somehow watched a show there loves the show.
It's amazing.
It just doesn't translate as well on the people that are watching on the TV. But I think you're right. When the seats go up, because they're saying that the seats are going to go like 16 to like 20 feet up.
Right.
I think probably close to like what we saw with the Next Gen when the wrestling was there. But then it only kind of went up on some of the corners of the room. It wasn't like a full sort of wraparound, at least to what I think they might try to do. But to be there, they're going to have the concessions open. The concessions building, it's done. It's all there. That's just shuttered. So every time I walk past, I'm like, when's it going to open? I'm like, I just think silly shit. Like, I wonder what they're going to sell. I wonder what they're going to offer.
Well, I wonder, how it's set up. Like, do you hire, like, most stadiums and arenas and stuff, like, you don't actually handle the stuff yourself. You hire, like, Aramark or one of these third-party companies that come in and handle everything. Like, I wonder if it'll be that or, like, is there going to be like, hey, isn't that the security guard that's serving my beer for me right now or whatever? You know what I mean? Is that the blue shirts back there throwing me some popcorn together?
And then tomorrow he's going to be catching the fighter when they get slapped on Power Slap.
So I
mean, they do have the kitchen staff that I wonder if they would open up that possibility to give them more hours to do other sort of stuff. Or they could. I mean, like, there's so many food workers in this.
Is that Forrest Griffin?
You joke, but I guarantee the very first night, I could see Forrest back there fucking just getting his rocks off, pouring
Forrest
some beer.
Does everything. If there's a new Forrest wanted to catch, like, it wasn't like they forced him to catch Power Slap. He's like, I want to please let me
That's
go
why
do
I guarantee, like, the first night, I can totally see just personalities going back there and doing something just to have a moment. And if they don't, we should suggest that so they actually do it. Think if you're there going.
Can we just bring in like Tai Tuivasa to serve beer the whole time, bro? Like,
just like just glasses that are shaped like a shoe.
Yeah, man, come on,
dude. I'm telling you, like, and it would. You want to increase your sales. Have that, little things like that, and I'm sure the fighter would be like.
Well, hopefully it appeases everybody on TV, because again. I've always said, well, we don't have the same complaints. It's also because we ingest this a whole lot differently. Like, we're there. And if you're there, if you talk to – you will never meet somebody that goes to an Apex event that goes, hate it. It's got to go away.
Yep.
It crushes the sport. But I do get it. It's different watching fights there than it is watching fights at Madison Square Garden or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that this maybe changes that a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll. But I mean, also we're there to work. So I mean, like, so for me, when I'm thinking like, okay, am I either going to be in the bowels of some arena where I'm watching on a small TV, I can barely move because it's crowded or whatever, or I'm in a tent, or I can be in a place where I know the internet works. I have room to move. I can go back and get myself coffee.
Get a coffee if you
I can
want.
run to the bathroom really easy. I can be in the bathroom in 30 seconds as opposed
From a working
to a 5-minute walk.
perspective, in addition, when you just add in how close it is to our house, you literally can't. But even if you didn't live here and you were just working there, like you would love working there. It's easy to get around. It's incredible.
I mean, like, I like the pay-per-views and stuff down at T-Mobile, and it's cool being around the paper, but I mean, there's a lot of things that go on there that it's hot, it's sweaty. Like the tent sometimes is blowing around like it's going to fly away like the Wizard of Oz. I mean, like, there's all kinds of other
the Final
stuff.
Destination light swinging at the
swinging
top.
overhead.
That thing is definitely going to kill somebody
You
someday.
hear like the helicopters messing up interviews, other stuff that's just like. So sometimes if I had my pick in terms of working, not what like the crowd, not take that out, even some of the fights and levels of the fights, I would rather work at an Apex and then sit in a tent behind the T-Mobile.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
fair.
But as opposed to how it looks on TV, the level of fights that you're going to put on a T-Mobile show. Obviously, the fighters are further on in their career, for most of them, than the ones that are at like the Apex that are trying to earn that shot. But we still get the good ones on occasion at the Apex that easily could be a T-Mobile one, because obviously every fight can't be at T-Mobile, so you put good fights at the Apex. But yeah, I love the fact, and I'll say it to the day I die. I mean, I would rather drive 5 minutes down the street
than to have to go deal with strip traffic.
Yeah, literally, the security knows you. You walk in, you're like, oh, yeah, here, you just look at my shit. Let me get in here.
$30 for parking.
Oh, it all adds up. But yeah, but when this whole thing is done and seeing more fans and being able to see the reaction and it's going to be – I'm looking forward to see how it feels.
I'm hopeful for December 13th. I think November 1st and 8th we'll probably just see the building. But I'm hopeful there'll be some fans.
Yeah, because they got to advertise.
13th. Yeah, you got to sell. You got to advertise. But at worst, I would say next year we'll certainly see it.
I want to see the box office in action. So you see the windows closed up, but it's got the screens that are digital screens that promote the different events. It looks really cool, but it'd be neat to see day of people walking up oh, can I get some tickets or whatever?
Can I buy?
That would be fucking cool.
I'm looking forward to it, man. So I know people have a negative connotation with the Apex, but I guess it'll be Apex 2.0 and maybe everybody will give it a fresh look and say, hey, all right, maybe I wasn't the biggest fan, but let me see now, because it's a necessary evil. And trust me,
and it's not going away.
As somebody that is working on the operations side of things, obviously not on the scale of the UFC, but I can tell you how expensive it is to rent a building, to install lights, to travel crew, to pay for hotel rooms, to give per diems. I mean, the amount of cost, not that the UFC's hurting for money, but it's just always going to make financial sense for them to put on shows in the Apex.
They already did the work. They already bought everything. Internet. You got to rent internet. You got to do all kinds of things that you don't really think about. You're like, oh, the security to have, an event on. They already have security, and they'll still bring on extra security.
The cost to rent a venue and then the cost that they add on to run a power line that you need. You're like, that doesn't come with the venue? Oh, no. We get you with the venue, but no. Oh, and wait. You need power for the truck also? Oh, that's a separate power line. Like, don't those two power lines connect to the same one power line? Or are you running them all the way?
Extension cord?
You know what I mean? Oh, no, that's different.
And oh no, you can't run the power lines yourself. You can't plug this in. You got to work with this staff. You got to work with this union. You got to work with this.
We only allow these people. These are your only approved vendors. But I got somebody that'll do it for half the price. Not an approved vendor, sir. Not allowed to do business in here.
So I mean, it makes so much sense. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see it. And when it's up fully running, I think it'd be really cool. I mean, but again, I guess we're Apex homers. But I mean, I think it'll change. I would hope that it would change. But some people it's funny because of the same people that, want to see it on the road, never go on the road. And then you don't really hear them say whatever. And then they gripe about the cards. Oh, that's an Apex level card. I can't believe they took that to wherever. I'm like, you're just not happy. You're just not happy about something.
All right, so the future of the building, future Contender Series as well. Dana touched on it, said he did say, and if I remember right, he said it'll end up on Paramount Plus. The way I took it live was it's not done yet. The deal's not done yet. And I was kind of curious. I honestly think that's a positive, though, because there was a time, and I think you and I talked about this early this year, I should say, where it looked pretty much inevitable that the stuff was going to be split, right? That you were
Yep.
going to get some on Netflix, you were going to get some on ESPN Plus, whatever it may be. And finally, Paramount Plus came in and said, no, let's
Yep.
keep it all together. Let's keep it all. I honestly think it's a positive for everything to be in one place. Like, I think in the beginning it may sound like, man, the more places we can distribute this, the more chance we have of eyeballs finding it. But I think having everything in one place is beneficial not only for the fan, right? And I don't mean just from a cost perspective, but just remember when we had to be like, now is this one on Fuel TV? No, this one's on FX.
Yeah.
No, this one's on FS2. You know, like, no, I want to know everything's in one place. So I think from a fan perspective, it's good. And also I just think from, like, having a broadcast partner that is fully invested in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they've got the whole package.
Can't get much more invested than what they're doing.
Oh my
They invested more than the net value of their company in
That's
this
amazing,
thing, which
man.
is just ridiculous.
Amazing.
Dana did touch on the fact how since it's getting near the end of the ESPN thing, you're already starting to see the sad relationship things where people are starting to realize that things are in. But that's the biggest question I worry about. I will say I do like the fact that it's all on one platform.
Yep.
I know initially people were also talking about, well, if it's on more places, there might be more money, and then hopefully that would trickle down to the fighters.
Right.
We'll see if that ever, whatever. But still, if there's more money for the organization, there's hopefully more money to pay fighters or bring more people on. But I do like that it's on one platform, and I think the platform's pretty good. It's a solid platform, like when we see some of these things, maybe will we ever get a stress load of a Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul like Netflix? And everybody's like, I can't believe Netflix. How dare they? I was like, bro, just the sheer number. But the fact that they're really going all in on it, I think is fantastic. I just don't know if we're going to see the effort. Like ESPN was sending multitudes of people to create programming around the UFC. Paramount Plus is giving them all this money. Here's your platform. Are they going to try to do anything, or are they just saying, now UFC, you have the freedom to create more shows or whatever? I don't see Paramount sending teams of people to create content to run on their thing.
I don't either.
I think that's all going to be on that. So in that sense, it's maybe for those of you that I don't watch every little thing that ESPN puts out, but I liked the fact that when I went to the app, I would see offerings of stuff. Will we still see that? The UFC has a huge editing department that cranks out a bunch of stuff that a lot of that stuff just goes to .com,
right,
or it just goes to Fight Pass. I think there's still a need for some of that stuff to go to Fight Pass because it creates worth in Fight Pass, so that's not just like you're watching the fight library, you know. But I wonder about that sort of thing. Are we going to feel a drop in content, or is the UFC going to step up and be like, hey guys, now it's on us? They have a ton of editors. I think they could do it. There's a lot of shows I don't even know exist until I see like an app about them, or an ad, or something like, what show is this? You're highlighting knockouts and blah blah blah.
There was that one show, and this may be this is a very interesting question. You're right. First of all, you're spot on. Paramount is not going to have a full team of people. Right. Here's our cameraman. Here's our audio guys. Here's our director, our producer, along with our on-air talent. No, they're going to rely on the UFC for all that. Will they even do anything, or will they just say, UFC, give us what you got? I think it might be more that. Like, I bet Paramount might not do it. Maybe they create a desk show or something, but I'm guessing not. I'm guessing they say, look, we gave you $7 billion. Just give us all the content to your heart's content, right? But I will say you are right about it. I did feel like maybe that was missing sometimes too. I used to always talk about that show, and even I would miss it. It was called UFC Destined at one point, and then they changed the name to something else. But it was like an embedded. I hate saying embedded because that leads toward the show embedded, but it was literally like a camera crew just following every moment of a guy, you know, and I think that's where we got I remember the Bilal Muhammad crying or whatever when he was blind, you know what I mean? It was scared. You're like, that's where we got that footage and some other footage of stuff like that. I didn't even know when it was on or where to find it. And is it on ESPN Plus? And ESPN Plus, boy, I used to find this. So I would watch the post-fight show. And for post-fight show, like, I think I would have to search inside the ESPN app, like, fight or something, because it wouldn't even if I pulled up UFC, it wouldn't pull up. And so there was a lot. So maybe less is more in some ways, that you don't have so much content that you don't even know where to find what you're looking for.
Well, and Paramount has a ton of stuff on there. There's a ton of shows, there's a ton of movies, so hopefully, I mean, this would bolster up a sports thing. So it's when you go to sports, I don't think they're going to have even a fraction of what you would find as offerings for like ESPN. So maybe it will be easier to put stuff, and just highlight it. But it'll be interesting. But I think you're right. I don't think they're going to create anything. I think they're just like, we'll take whatever you want to give us. But it's on you to do it. And Dana and them might love that. I mean, they already have a team. And what, if anything, this helps do is usually when we saw like broadcast deal changes, granted, this was for more money. We saw people leaving because when they were taking that money that ESPN was throwing, they bolstered up their staff. Like they constantly hire editors and sometimes more shooters and some of the other people, and you're like, where's their stuff going?
Right.
Now it gives that platform. So hopefully, rather than dropping crowd because now they don't have this, partner that was taking it and had an output, they might now say, just give us everything. So maybe they'll even hire more people because they got more money.
Yep.
So
these next few months are going to be interesting to see how it all plans out. I mean, it's like we know what's happening, but we don't really know what's happening yet. We don't know what it's going to look like.
We do know that I do know that, credit to, we've worked and talked with a lot of these ESPN folks for years. I mean, this has been their life traveling around, and I know this is going to be a huge adjustment for those cats. It'll be interesting to not see some of those guys on, but it's going to be very different. Like, fight weeks are going to look very different without this extra crew and all these people that have been there forever. Always do it. And they're nice folks, they're fun to hang out with, fun to grab a drink and do all the other kind of stuff. But I guess with change, there's unfortunately some people that are on the downside of it, but hopefully there's a lot of positives that come with,
everybody, hope everybody finds good spots. The good thing is, man, obviously UFC on your resume, ESPN on your resume, all those things look very, very good. You know what I mean? So
hopefully ESPN can pivot them to another thing.
Yeah,
and just
they'll either find spots in the sport or they'll find something else that they love to do. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a good thing. Is I don't think this will leave anybody that's just like, well, there was no other spot in the community for me. Like live sports production is huge right now. Like it's big, so it'll be good. Contender Series. The last thing I want to say about Contender Series, I'm interested to see. I know Dana always talks about it, and there was time at one point where he was like, "Hey man, maybe we'll do double the amounts of Contender Series." I don't.
And because I know we just heard rumors like within a couple weeks ago, people were saying there were going to be 2 seasons, but Dana didn't really seem all that into it.
I think he always says I could do this every week.
Yeah.
The problem is, and I know the matchmakers know it because I've heard him talk about it. The regional scene needs time to develop fighters. You know what I mean? Like it's not like there's just this unending pool of UFC-ready athletes that, oh my gosh, we're not even getting to scratch the surface of them because we don't have enough shows. No, you're seeing 100 athletes in a relatively short period of time. So the scene needs time to develop. The other thing, too, though, is, and I will say this, I think you could do it. You could do more episodes if you got a lot more strict about how many contracts you gave out. You know what I mean? You can't, because you're also forcing like constant churn.
What was it, 46? Is that the number? Is 46 contract,
like
48?
Because you had a couple losers. I hate to say losers. You had a couple guys that took losses that picked up contracts. So, but that forces that constant churn of the roster, because the roster is literally just a mathematical equation. All you do is how many events do you have per year times how many slots do you have per event times 2, because there are 2 slots. You get a number, and then you say, and how many times a year do we want somebody to fight? Normally, depending on your organization, you either divide that by 2.5 or 3.5. So, I mean, literally, like, a roster size is literally just a mathematical equation. So you can't have a never-ending pool. You can't have 1,000 athletes on roster because you wouldn't be able to offer them enough fights, and then you would default on contracts. So when people say, oh, they're just looking for cheap talent, that is true. But when you're forcing it in, you have to get rid of people. And so if you're adding in that many people, you're forced to get people out. And so that's going to be tough. So I think from that perspective, you could do more shows, but if you did 20, let's say double, if you did 20 contingencies, you can't give away 4 or 5 contracts every time. It's got to be like 1 or 2. So.
And, I mean, you start running the gamut of, like, is the pool big enough here? Now, if they go internationally and start, tapping into markets overseas and using, say they want to do an international season, or they wanted obviously Abu Dhabi and those kind of things, they're creaming. They would love to have these things over there. But if they could take it to London, I guarantee they could start finding some upcoming guys in London, in Spain, whoever. I mean, they could literally make an international. It'd be tough on the team that has to go do all that sort of stuff. But again, you still have a roster count that you have to manage. But in terms of just tapping into a market, I think if you try to go in the same places, like if you could like, let me look at Milwaukee again. Let me look at Pittsburgh again. Let me look at whatever. At some point in the U.S., they got to be like, I've been looking. There's just not enough people. But if you start looking elsewhere outside of the U.S., then the talent pool widens up. Then maybe you can have more than 10 fights. Maybe you can do 20. But as we saw this year, there were like 2 female fights. I think I was trying to do a search. There's been 9 seasons, 18. I want to say it said 18 female fights. I didn't double check or whatever. That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot at all. So. And when I started asking Dana, I did a poor job. I was like,
fights,
is it
right? 450 fights because there would be 900 fights.
Well, you figure like there might be some random ones where it was like this week where they had 6 fights, so there's random whatever.
450 fights, right? Because it's 10. It's 5 fights per episode. 10 episodes. So that's 50 fights times 9 seasons. 450. But so 450 fights, 900 fighters.
Yeah,
and
that was an AI overview. I didn't go line by line each one. I just did try to do a search. So
less than 10%.
Less than 10%. So if you can't find females, or maybe that's another one where they can maybe look more into that, but maybe they're just like, well, nobody wants to watch that or whatever. I
wonder if because you talk about visiting it, or traveling it. I wonder if doing that on like the week of international pay-per-views, like if you're doing an international pay-per-view,
so that makes sense because the team's already there.
You're already traveling like power slap, jiu-jitsu. Well, they're not traveling jiu-jitsu yet because they got to figure out how to travel.
Right. Power slap's traveling with them.
Power slap travels with them, right? So. I'm sure TKO Boxing will be a part of it. You do the WWE takeover or whatever.
Poor staff. If they don't bring on extra people, they're like, stop.
Oh, dude, the staff. It's funny because you talk to staff and they keep telling you like, no, they're saying they're going to bring on more people, and I'm sure they will. But I will say this. So
they've been saying that for years.
This last 4 weeks. I mean, we always knew this because you and I were shoulder to shoulder with all these people working. But being on the opposite side of it, here was the most difficult thing of the last 4 weeks. And it was funny. So Jason Liederfond, who's our CEO, like him and I were talking about a couple operations things, and like I was having to review conversations with him about like, wait a minute. When we made this decision, was that for this week or next week? You know what I mean? Because you just like you're operating 1 week, planning 2 weeks out, planning that, and it's like, wait a minute. I know we said on the weigh-ins we were going to do this, but was that this week or next? Just keeping all that stuff straight in your head, man. So for them to have to do it, I'm just talking about 1 4-week stretch. They're talking about 12 months all the time. You know what I mean? So but I do think that would be a cool concept. Now listen.
Yeah.
I do think,
and it does make sense. You're getting the most value out of taking a team and relocating it overseas for a week.
Right.
Might as well go
a
day because they're already out there. Usually Tuesdays when they're bringing in the guys, anyways. Mm-hmm. So does that mean it just means go out a little bit extra early so that you can do the Monday weigh-ins?
I'm still in the last city, Cold Coffee. I can't
That's
get
pretty
to the
much
next
what it
city.
is because they would have to bolster the ops team that gets there early to set up for the rooms and make sure everything's good. You'd have to have a team that would have to go out. It would literally be. They finish the fight on Saturday. They leave Sunday, and it would be going to the next location.
Yeah, they'd have to be their own.
They'd have to have a separate ops team.
Two shared ops.
I mean, they did for a long time have like a proper full-on ops team over in like the UK. They handle a lot of that stuff. I don't know what exists left of that anymore. I think a lot of them came over here, and then some others just went whatever. So I know there's personnel there that they could always tap back into, but I don't think they're on the ready. But if something like this happened, then it makes sense to bring those people back in the fold so they could do something. But yeah, it would have to be another team because it's just nonstop. But as for PR and stuff like that, they would have it a little bit easier. But yeah, if you're going to fly people overseas, why not do it?
Yeah.
And if it gives the opportunity to see more upcoming, fighters that we wouldn't know about, and if anything else, media is always like, how do I tap into the UFC? Well, if it's there, maybe if you want to try to get into the UFC, but maybe if you're not ready for the UFC, maybe they'll let you do the contenders. And then you start building that equity with them so that the next time the UFC does come, maybe they'll let you go to the big show.
Yep, I dig it.
So,
all right, well, a lot of things will be happening over the next couple months, and next year it's going to be a fun year to cover. I think anytime you see just how everything's changing and how the adjustments are, it's going to be a fun year to cover. We were talking about referees. I meant to mention this earlier. How about Big John McCarthy getting back into refereeing?
Back in the game.
I absolutely really, really love it. I know there's no question. We talk about the rise of some of these officials and the people are getting better and stuff, but there is, and I can tell you without question that the officiating community all definitely rightfully looks to him as the dude that started it all. He is the best. You know what I mean? Obviously, he helped write the rules. So I was happy to see him get back to it. I'd heard that he was getting licensed again, and at first, when I first heard the news, I was like, well, maybe that's just a formality, like because he wants to train officials, and in order to train officials, he has to be licensed.
Just stay licensed.
Yeah, he has to be and then to find out that it was he actually wants to be active. I'm so happy for him because
and he's already done one. I think
he's already done one, and I'm anxious to see how much he wants to do because number one, first of all, Big John, like I said, legend. loves this sport more than anything. Like, obviously, this sport has given him so much in his life, but loves being in there as an official, and had to stop doing it, not because like he wanted to stop, but because his like neck and back were killing him so bad that he just couldn't be in there, and so he was like kind of physically forced to walk away, like not of his own decision. But to see him get back into it and knowing how much he loves it, just knowing how much expertise he has, and like, because even if you have like, and it's tough because you want the young officials too to also have big. You don't want him to suck up every major opportunity, because then you're not developing everybody. But even just to have him come in and do like 1 or 2 fights, but be there also like as a mentor and as a coach to all these other, because he's seen everything, and that's I think that's the biggest thing that is so hard about being an MMA official, especially, is like, there's a rule book, but like, you can't cover everything that possibly happens in a mixed martial arts fight in a rule book. So you got to be able to kind of think, and what have we done before, and how have we done things. So I don't know. I thought that was a cool thing to see Big John McCarthy get back in there.
Very cool.
The other thing I want to bring up too was the news from this morning. Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman III announced for November 14th on Netflix. Their boxing.
I did not see.
You didn't even see that? Oh,
no.
Well, now
I was hungover this morning.
Now's when we peel back the curtains. I was
hungover this morning.
Cold coffee went wild yesterday. Could not even. And you know what, man? I don't judge. I have pride for you. Like, when you're like, when you were outlining the number of places you went last night, or I should start yesterday afternoon and into the night.
Yes.
And you weren't even sure about some of the stops along the way. I mean, I just applaud. I'm like, that is a day of getting it in, sir.
We got it in.
So yes, I came over this morning because cold coffee is not working today. So we're like, hey, why don't we record a little early in the day? It's been a while since we've been together. Well, that way, we can get it knocked out, and we both have our days and things. And I walked in. Coffee was just starting to drip. You know what I mean? Like, it was a struggle. So, all right. So I'm breaking news to you.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman announced for November 14th, heavyweight boxing match, 6 rounds. Wow. It is on the undercard of the Jake Paul
that makes sense.
contest down in Florida. So, you're going into this blind.
I'm leaning Anderson.
Well, what's your initial thought of putting it together?
I think it's a fun fight.
See, all right.
I have no problem with it at all. I think that's
hilarious.
awesome.
So you didn't even know about it, and I think that's so hilarious, because I saw the first initial reaction I saw was everybody trashing it, and to me, I'll be honest, number 1 from MVP, brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Why are they trashing it? They think they're like, Anderson's too old. He looked fantastic the last time he boxed.
50. He is 50.
Yeah. Some of us 50-year-olds, we still do okay. You know what I'm saying?
Going good, bro. What do you think? Hey, 50's just getting started, bro. 50's the new 48.
And it's boxing. It's not.
So here was my thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So but I'm so glad we're on this, because listen, I do get it. Now let me say, first of all, I do want to say brilliant from MVP, right? Because I think a lot of people are looking at this Jake Paul, Tank Davis thing, thinking, what are we doing here? Like, it just visually,
that's ridiculous.
It looks bizarre. Visually, it looks weird. This did not come cheap. Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman are not appearing for minimal amounts of money. Like, they're going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
But I think this is brilliant. I think MVP does such a good job of finding little things that are going to get attention and get people talking. So I think this is great. 6 rounds, heavyweight boxing matchup. It is worth saying. Silva 50, Weidman 41. I will also say Weidman, of course, did grapple for us at CFFC. He came up short against Pat Downey, but Pat Downey's a guy that's, much younger and in the prime of his grappling career, and Weidman went toe-to-toe with him, and, it made it competitive. And it was funny because I talked to Chris afterwards, and you could see it kind of relit that fire. So, I mean, he's been excited about this. He's been pumped up for this. So, I get the naysayers, but I'll be honest with you, and I don't mean this as a shot at BKFC, but I would much rather guys do this than go do BKFC as a retirement type fight. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's boxing. They have giant gloves. If somebody starts getting cut, they stop to check the cut. Like, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff built in. Yes, are they taking headshots? Yes. But, I mean, like, there's a lot of protective rules in boxing that don't exist in BKFC.
Yep.
They're not going to take the same sort of damage. They literally could drop to a knee and, take an 8 count or whatever, stand up, get checked, which adds more time. They can clear the head a little bit. No, I'm fine with it. Recently, Manny Pacquiao, who is now 46, 47, put on one of the best boxing performances against a much younger dude.
Yes.
Granted, Pacquiao is a spectacular athlete, a spectacular fighter,
But
so
is
are these
Anderson
two.
Silva, and so is Chris
are these
Weidman.
two.
Yeah.
Like it's
You're not
funny.
talking
You're
about
not
just some
taking
average dude off the street.
Yes, it's not like, hey, Cole Coffey, we want you to go in a box against a guy that's 10 years younger.
Yep.
I know you haven't ever really boxed or you haven't whatever, but it's for money and it's for show. And like then, yes, give them shit, whatever. This is fine, and I think it makes a lot of sense because they have history. I mean, like it's
amazing.
It's a great idea.
And here's the thing too, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you to give me $50. I'm not
Even
asking you to give me $70. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Do you want to tune in and watch these two legends of the sport that you know of? Do you want to see them tussle, complete the trilogy?
Yep.
You do. So
Yep.
I'm
and
so glad.
I can see Anderson Silva looking really good. It'd be interesting to see how Weidman, the training, how he would actually look, how his footwork would look when you're not trying to set up and get in and get a takedown,
right.
or you're not trying to wrestle. Like, let's see your footwork, let's see how you work on the thing. Where we know Anderson's going to look good. Like,
yep.
I think I'm completely fine with
That's
it.
funny.
I think, but if I had to take my early lean, Anderson all day.
Oh, Anderson all day, and that's no disrespect to Weidman.
No,
but
Anderson
it's like,
looks good.
It's like, hey, if I told you that Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman were going to have a grappling match, who would you lean towards right away?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Not that Anderson doesn't have great jiu-jitsu as well, but you're going to lean
Weidman's
towards
a fantastic
Weidman.
wrestler.
Incredible
like,
wrestler.
It's ridiculous.
So Silva is, I think, even at 50 years old, he's slick. He's, now we haven't seen him a little bit, so maybe he deteriorated a little bit. But it's so funny the fact
it's not
that
like we're going to see Anderson come in with like a beer belly and then like, oh, he looks out of shape. It's not going to happen.
It's so funny because I saw the news this morning, and that was my initial reaction was the same as yours, and I literally did start to second guess myself. I'm like, am I getting so far on like the promotion operation side that I'm not thinking like a journalist anymore or whatever? But even as a journalist, like again, now if I was trying to say this was for a world title, or if I was asking for $80, then maybe I start to doubt a little bit more. But I think it's fun. I think it's a good play by
you
MVP.
raised the point about the Tank Davis and Jake Paul. That's different. That's
weird,
just an extreme just shit show. But luckily, Tank Davis is a badass boxer. Nobody wants to go in and fight a guy that's 40, 50 pounds, 60 pounds bigger than you and like literally 4 feet taller or whatever.
Crazy.
That's just ridiculous. But this one is fine. I think it's a legit fight, and I think it's fun. I have no problem with the age because those guys, they're not your typical. Anderson is not your typical 50-year-old.
No,
so it's good, and it's boxing. At the end of the day, there's lots of rules to protect them. Fucking make your bank, boys. Take
down.
a bag.
I'll be watching.
Let's
for
go.
Sure. I'll be watching for sure. All right, we do have UFC Vancouver this weekend, but I want to talk about a couple other things as well. I want to throw it out there now. Get it on. I booked my ticket yesterday.
Yeah.
I will be in New York for UFC 322.
There you go.
Look, man. Kyle Dawkins, Sean Brady's at it, Fatima Klein, Aaron Blanchfield.
Wow.
Maybe a couple other one or two CFFC names on the card.
Can you put that
as
on the
well.
CFC card?
What's that?
Can you put that on? Can you bill that out to CFFC?
I hadn't tried, but you know what? That's a good call. I might have to reach out to the boss man, Rob Haydack, and be like,
hey, how about I just go out there and represent
General
us?
manager probably needs to be in the building, right? Just to follow up on our talent, make sure everything's good, help represent the brand.
And then you could do some little quick interviews or something for the site or something. Maybe do a little social media stuff or something.
I'm not going to get out there until Friday, though, but I actually found a round trip flight for like $220.
That's ridiculous.
I'm going to fly into
on your normal airline?
On American. Yeah, wow. I'm flying into Newark. I got to connect, but I'm flying into Newark, and then I'm flying out of JFK. But yeah, it was like $220 round trip.
That's ridiculous. That's super cheap.
So I'm gonna get there Friday. I think I'm gonna get there Friday afternoon. So I'll miss the official weigh-ins, but I'll be in time before the ceremonial weigh-ins. But here's what I'm wondering. Should we just plan right now on pushing to, because you're going, right?
I'll be there.
Maybe we just plan on recording Friday night after ceremonials. Maybe we bring, if I'm sure
we could grab something that's there.
You know what I mean? Bring somebody that's there, have a little fun, maybe find a little cocktails or something. Maybe we just like mark that on the calendar.
Will we do that? Will we drink while we're there?
I mean, maybe. I'm only gonna be there 2 nights, and I am taking a really early flight out on Sunday. Like I think 7:30 a.m.
So you're just getting a room for like Friday, Saturday?
Just Friday, Saturday. Yeah, I got a room Friday, Saturday. Right. I initially, I think I was by the host hotel, but I ended up getting something by. It's so expensive.
It's
so my flight was super cheap. I think my flight was like $220, and then my hotel's like $700 for 2 nights.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's the hotel is easily the biggest cost of this trip. It's ridiculous.
So crazy.
It's ridiculous.
But who's
I think probably me and Bon. I imagine
probably both out there.
And then actually my boss, who I've never actually met in person, Chris Corder, is going to be out there as well. So he's going to come out and see. We're going to I think do dinner on like Tuesday night, but he's going to come. He wanted to see what media day is like, and and try to get the idea of other things that can happen while you're on the ground, and so they can just sort of just feel like what it's like. So
is he going to stay with you guys all week, pretty much?
No, I think
just those 2 days.
Because I forget if he's in Virginia or whatever. It's like he's like an hour and a half train ride or something. So he's just going to hop in. But yeah, I've literally been staring at this dude for a couple years now or whatever. Just video screen. I was like, bro, we ever actually met? I was like, I don't remember. He's like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, well, hey, I'm going to be in New York. And he's like, I'll come meet you. So I actually just got him applied and approved to. I told him, I was like, he's just coming for media day. Don't worry about us having like a third credential or whatever. He's not going to be a load on it or whatever. But yeah.
Well, so we used to do that for a while. We'd have 3.
Yeah. On occasion when it made sense, you know.
That's cool.
Those days don't happen that often anymore. The cost of things now is just so crazy. It's really crazy, and that's one of the biggest things that an organization can look at and easily say, okay, where can we cut costs? And it makes sense to cut travel as opposed to cut a body. Yes. You know, like nobody wants that. You know, and it sucks not being able to travel. You know, to a lot of the same places, but luckily for us, at the end of the day, we've been lucky enough to have had some travel in our past. So it's not like I don't get the FOMO anymore. You know, like there's when they go to some place like Paris.
I do on fight night.
Yeah. Like when they went to Paris, I was like, oh, that sucks because we got Abby over in the UK, so I don't really go to any of those. I was like, well, I'd like to go to some of those. But when they're like, hey, we're going back to Abu Dhabi, we're going to Qatar, and I'm like, no, I don't really care to go over there. I'm like, I'm good.
I still.
But Italy, I would love to go to Italy.
You definitely
they go to Italy. Like,
everybody be trying to get
They go back to Japan. I would love to go back to Japan. I just don't know if those are going to happen anymore.
I do want to do when they go to Africa for the first time. I do want to do when they go to Africa for the first time.
At the end of the day, it's nice when somebody pays for your travel. Can I schedule a vacation to go somewhere? If you save up the money, sure, go. But I'm like, it's nice when somebody else pays for it.
I do say, man, like when anybody ever talks to me about like my time with Junkie or whatever, I was like, bro, I got to see the world on somebody else's dime. Like that was very, very fortunate.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, still it is funny. Like I still do. The other night when I flew back in and the fights were at T-Mobile, but like I landed at like 5:00 and I'm like, I can't just roll in for the main card. Like I would feel like a complete jackass. So I drove home, but like.
I'm sure there's others that do.
I know, but I felt like a jet. I was like, I can't do that. So I actually told Nabi, I was like, just pull my credential. I'm like that. I was like, I don't want to do that. That'd be ridiculous. But when I was sitting at home, like watching the fights at T-Mobile, knowing that they were like 15 minutes away, I was just like, I was getting that FOMO like that. And I hate the term FOMO, but like I was getting that like, oh, I want to be there. You know, I want to be there cage side. And I will say, like, dude, even the Brazil card, man, like. The volume of the fans, like I know that feeling, that energy, and I miss it. But as soon as the fights are over, and I just like turn my TV off and I go crawl in my own bed, I'm like, no FOMO at all.
Well, because I mean, that was always one of the unique ones. So, like, especially if you're trying to do the presser, most of everybody else has already left. A lot of the shuttles are gone. You know, if you're lucky enough to get on a UFC shuttle or a media shuttle, they've done better about like having like a media shuttle or whatever. Because before. Finishing last thing, you had to go outside.
We'd be like begging to get on the staff bus because we were the last. But there was no transportation.
There's no transportation. You're lucky to flag down a car or an Uber or whatever. But then you're out when you got like cleaning crew and other people that are waiting to get into the venue to whatever, and you're like, you don't know if they're cleaning crew or if they're just homeless guys looking for some easy motherfucking targets. And then you're trying to get a thing, and it's like 3-4 in the morning or something like that, or sometimes later, and like, so when you're able to get back, but that was always what led into the cool moments of when you were able to get travel
on the beach,
go to the beach, watch the sunrise. You're
tired,
on the beach,
your
eyes are killing you.
Frosty beverage in hand, plastic chair, cool breeze.
Whenever those memories pop up on the phone, I'm like, yeah. But,
that was amazing.
But that initial of getting from the venue at the end of the night, being so late, knowing you still had to do work, that little initial stress, that's why I think the beach felt good, because you overcame that late night stress of like, how do we now secure our bodies from here, getting back to where the hotel is, because it's just not as easy. It's not as easy as doing something like that in the States. But I did see the crowd. It sounded amazing, So when I see things like that, a lot of memories and a lot of emotions do flood every time they go to Rio, because it was just that stuff still so vivid in the brain. But a lot of it, was from little things like that where somebody might be like, oh, it was so crazy being in the crowd. But then you think about the logistics of that stuff afterwards is just, if anything else, I remember
that more
because that was the stuff that you're just like, oh shit, this not life or death, but it's like it felt like at times because you're like, how am I going to get from A to B?
You remember all that more than the fights themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like obviously there's special moments, you know, that will always stand out, but yeah, you remember all the stuff around it and all just the whole experience.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? More than just
even
the fights themselves.
when you're able to, I remember just when being able to talk onto some of the last like shuttle buses, or like when the last staff is finishing breaking down, packing up the octagon and everything, put them on the last trucks. There'd be like one last bus, and you're like, or one last show. You're like, bro, can I get on that? And they, oh yeah, no, we'll get you on. Just that emotion of like,
God. Okay, have a ride.
I'm good. And then you're just like, I fucking love you, brother. I love you all. Like whoever's on this bus, I love you. Thank you. You know, and you remember that stuff because then you feel like you've been really in the trenches with somebody. You're like, oh, I won't ever forget this gift that you've given me. You know,
so true, man. Old school, man. I wouldn't trade for anything. I will say so. UFC in Vancouver this weekend. Vancouver is one of my absolute favorite cities on earth, man.
It is beautiful.
So gorgeous up there. I'm hoping that I can make it up there for a World Cup game. I want to bring my son up there. Like, I'll see World Cup is next year. I'm hoping I can be able to take him up there. I love that city. Big fight, Randy the Ritter, Brendan Allen. Not the fight that we initially thought we were going to get, but I think still a damn good fight regardless.
Yep.
A lot of impact on the middleweight title picture, that's for sure, depending on how things play out in there.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. Fun little card. Kevin Holland, Mike Malott could be a lot of fun. Cheeto's back against Sahabi.
Manon and Jasmine is legit, dude.
I love that fight.
That is an incredible fight.
Obviously,
I was really torn on where I was going to go initially because Jasmine's been fighting great, but I went with Manon.
I love this fight, man.
It is so good. It is so good.
Seeing Jasmine early in her career come through CFFC. So Mike Malott came through CFFC.
Yep.
Jasmine came through CFFC. Obviously, they kind of came during like the pandemic times when there was like no fights available in Canada, so we were able to bring them down and get them some fights. And Jasmine was so raw in the beginning, but she's just gotten better and better and better and better. So great to see her. Danny Barlow came through CFFC. Anxious to see him in a new division. So some fun fights, man. I'm definitely gonna be tuning in and watching this. I was joking on the broadcast last week because we were talking about the number of CFFC athletes. I'm going to claim Melissa Croden, too. We had Melissa Croden signed to a fight. We had her signed, and then she got this offer. And obviously, as soon as somebody gets a UFC offer, we're like, of course, absolutely, you should go.
Bond, I wasn't too familiar with her, and Bond got an interview with her, and I sat down and I was like, whoa, I'll pay attention to her now. I could easily tell her MMA skills were on point. But yeah, no, it's a fun fight to get started. But no, it's a good card. It's definitely got some fun fights in there. So yeah, I mean it's looking fun, but yeah, I'm really excited about the main event. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I did lean RDR on that one.
Did you?
I did. And boy, initially I'm Holland all day long, but he was really sort of out of sorts at media day. He was just in one of his just rare like I don't want to be here sort of moments. He was real grumpy, whatever. I don't know if it's just a bad cut or whatever. But I went with the Canadian.
Mike Malott.
Yeah.
Be a big opportunity for him.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest, toughest fight. But, I was like, I hate when I read too much into like something like with Holland looking bad or not looking bad, just looking disgruntled.
Because he's just such a mercurial kind of guy.
Yeah. You just wonder if he carries that into the fight, is he going to be more talking shit and just being grumpy as opposed to being his best self? But I hate when I look too much in it because he easily could go in that fight and just be the Kevin Holland we know that exists and just murk Malott. But Malott's a tough dude. He tends to get to those big moments in front of Canada.
Especially. So
we'll see. But I did lean Malott on that one. I did take Sahabi over Cheeto.
Ooh.
And that could be a bad pick on that one.
Still in the lead right now?
Yeah, by 2. I picked up one last
last event. Got a little space.
Yeah, that can easily on a card like this
starts getting nerve-wracking,
I'm like,
right?
Let's go. We're near the end of the year. I'm like, come on. I'd be cool to pad, but
gotta
stay
focused.
That's the thing. Bond's 2 behind me, and part of with the Holland and Malott, I was like, this is me giving up my game plan.
Little games and shit.
Figured he's going to lean towards Canadian.
He's going to homer.
And so I was like, worst case.
That's a safe play.
It's a safe play because I won't give up one on that. So I don't know. I haven't seen his picks.
But man, you start getting defensive with your picks. It can be a little.
Because I didn't. There was a point when I was like 6 behind.
Wow.
And made it back up. You have to make those choices to kind of catch up and whatever. And I was confident I'd get back up by the top so that I'd keep it close. I mean, because at the end of the year, I just try to, when you get to these last months, I want to be at least in the running.
Yeah.
You know, so that you could hope that you can catch it. But when you start running out of fights to make up the difference, you know, that's when it gets real tough.
At what point does the crew just have to admit the videographer knows more about the sport than anybody else on the staff? More than the professional handicapper, more than the I mean, Gordon Shore's like, I don't want to call him a professional gambler, but I mean,
he does. That's
right.
thing.
I mean, that's basically his profession, right? So I mean, more than that. Now, granted, I always have to say you have to be careful when you look at George's picks because he's looking for value. Like sometimes just straight, like who's winning.
Yeah.
He's looking for underdogs who are going to hit, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, but more than all these experts that are doing all the interviews and everything else, it's the videographer. It's that guy that knows more than anybody else.
I'm just happy to be in the running. I'm happy to currently being the only 3-time champion. It would be dope to pad that and say 4 times.
4? I mean, at what point do you call it a dynasty? You know
right?
what I mean?
Because there's been no other. I was the first to be a 2-time, and then the first to be a 3-time. There hasn't been another 2-time. When I saw Bond leading early, I was like, okay, somebody else is gonna get the 2-time, but it'd be cool to at least
4 times.
If I get 4-time, then it'd be nice to pad on top of the 2-time.
5 times. No, that's amazing.
But no, it's fun to be in the running. But yeah, these things. So yeah, it gets stressful because now I'm like, all right, I made it back up to the top or whatever, and he's by the top. Now you're like trying to hold on to it. Every little fight makes a difference. When I was able to get one extra one, I was like, thank.
I don't know if anybody else has been nominated as a Journalist of the Year that is a 4-time picks champion, man. I don't know.
Let's get that 4-time, then we can put it out there.
All right. The real event preview we need though is Fight Circus is in town this weekend, right?
Yes.
Have you been a part of?
Oscar's training? Of
Yep.
course. You know It's so funny. But yeah, because we didn't do crazy hard because I think it found out later on that this was actually happening. But yeah, the last week or so we've been hitting mitts. It's more like hitting mitts and doing some other little stuff. I actually took him to my buddy to work on his shoulder because his shoulder. That video where he actually did a little bit where my buddy was, he's like, oh, when he was drinking a little beer or whatever. He actually was working on his shoulder. So I think part of just not really, working that sort of thing and then trying to rush into it. I think some soreness and other little stuff. But no, we've been mainly hitting mitts and stuff. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but then I was like, I've already got plans or whatever. But yeah, we'll probably try to get. I don't know if he wants to do it tonight because now I think they're like it's tomorrow. So if anything, I would just say rest and do whatever. Because it's funny because he was.
They're not broadcasting this live though, right? Are they taping it for a future?
I don't know. That's
I haven't seen him advertising a broadcast. I know. So if anybody hasn't, I'm sure most people, if you listen to this, you've heard of Fight Circus. But if you haven't, it is chaos.
Yeah,
it is the absolute. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's enjoyment. It's based around combat sports, but they basically make up crazy ass rules. And you'll have a sumo guy. You'll have
fighting
teams
2 midgets.
Yeah,
or whatever.
You know what I mean.
Or you do I think one of the rounds of Oscar. So Oscar's doing beer boxing. So one hand is gonna be holding a beer, the other has a glove. I want to say the first 2 rounds are like that. I could be wrong unless something's changed. I want to say it's like 3 rounds or whatever. But one of the rounds are actually doing like the Siamese boxing. Him and somebody else are going to be in a shirt with each have 1 glove on and then fighting another 2 people for the round. So I think his opponent will have somebody else with him or whatever.
So there you go. I mean, that's the type of chaos we're talking about.
Yeah,
but it's a good time. It's you're definitely there to party. They did them in Thailand for a long time, and this is their first show in Vegas. It's
a combat sports, but there's a little bit of spectacle and works in there, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's the fact that they're doing it 2 nights in a row. They picked up another night, it's like if it was a legit combat sport, it's like you don't expect them to come back the next night.
And it's just the same because the same card both nights, right? Same card. Yeah, I bet what they're doing by doing 2 shows, I guess you could tape it and then you can take like the best moments of both or whatever.
Makes sense.
But I don't know that for a fact. I just know that I have seen all their social media, but I haven't seen them talk about broadcasting anywhere. I've just heard about.
And they're hoping to establish a residency here, and try to do this sort of thing so it can be an entertainment offering. And at that point, then you would probably see repeats of cards, but then you would be seeing more. Maybe variety of mixing things in just to keep it going, but
that's fun stuff.
But yeah, no. But Oscar, I mean, I'm glad that it is kind of more like, hey, let's go out and have fun and put on a show. But they're going to take shots. I mean, they're going to be hitting each other. But the dude he's fighting was a BKFC champion. Like, it's a legit dude that has skills. I was like, Oscar, I know you think you're the A side. Are you sure you didn't get brought in to get worked by this fucking dude? Like, this dude has fought. He's a legit.
Look at you asking the real questions. You know, yes, man. You don't come in and train at the Strong Coffee Gym and just get a bunch of attaboy,
great job,
attaboy.
I was like, bro, let's work. Like, you got a real dude across, and I don't think I think when, he wanted to fight, he wanted to do something, and then, he's just like, give me whoever. I'm like, they gave you somebody. Like, so he took it serious in the fact, and that's why I think his arm was like really sore because he was compensating or whatever. Like, when we're hitting mitts and working, like, we were doing rounds, like, we're trying to take it serious and trying to build up his cardio, because I was like, your emotions, your adrenaline's going to go crazy. Like, don't get an adrenaline dump against a dude that's a legit, like, fighter,
right?
Like, because he might be like, hey, let's practice this, whatever, then come game night and there's a crowd, emotions and people can change.
Yep.
So I was like, be ready to defend yourself.
And the venue is not the Pearl. It's there's like a club or something in there.
It looked like a club venue.
Yep.
Yeah, he was sending some pictures, and it looked like it's just going to be like crowded chaos. And I think that's part of what they go into, because they got people talking, and you're probably going to have people doing show shit off to the sides just to keep a spectacle going while he's up there like cheering on the crowds, involve the crowd or whatever. And then now let's bring in the next set of clowns to fight. It's going to be wacky, but that's why it's Fight Circus. It's literally a circus show.
I love it. Well, he was kind enough to offer to try to get me out there, so I think I'll try to go out Saturday night. So I hopefully I'll be in the building on Saturday night. I'd like to come check it out.
It'd be good.
I watched their old streams, man. I watched their old Fight Circus streams, and it's a party. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oscar's crazy. He's crazy.
He's having a good time.
I'm like, bro, you could just watch the shows. You don't have to be in the shows. But Oscar, he's a different breed, man. He's crazy.
That's great, man. Tomorrow, I will update my F1 indoctrination continues.
Look at you.
There is
the enemy now.
The F1 arcade. Well, I'm still not a fan of the traffic down there, but the F1 arcade Las Vegas is opening at the Caesars. Tomorrow's opening day, and so it happens to be a day where there's no school either.
Yep.
So I'm going to take my son and a buddy of his who are F1 fans to go check out the first day that it's open, F1 arcade.
Yeah.
So
I saw some it was a press release or something. It was either a preview or maybe it was just about that, and they were offering like, hey, do you want to come down? I was like, no. Even though I did think about it. I did think about it. I did think about it. I was like,
I think they're having a preview today. Or
that's probably what it was.
I think they're having like a press preview today or something, and then it opens to the public tomorrow. I'm going to go to the open public. But it's funny. So he's been taking to it. Like this past weekend, he did a little driving lesson at K1 Speed, the little go-kart track over here, where they kind of showed him like strategies and how to approach turns and when to accelerate and all that, and showed it. And he's soaking it up, man.
Yeah, because it's not like the go-karts where you're not supposed to hit. And I'm like, strategy. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking wipe him out on this one. I'm just gonna take this one out. And you hit him when the security guy's not looking. You do what you can. Rubbin's racing, boys.
Rubbin's racing. Yeah, that was a good time. So looking forward to that. So so maybe do that on Friday and do a little Fight Circus on Saturday. Obviously watching UFC Vancouver in between. I should say PFL Africa is Saturday morning as well. So they've had some fights over there, man. They've had some really good excitement, and they seem to be getting a little momentum again. Seems like people are talking about.
They've been like low key, like doing their thing, which is good.
Doing good things. It is good things. We need to see that happen. So anyway, all right. Well, good to be back with you, man. I'll let you go nurse this hangover a little bit and go.
And then do it again. I'm not gonna do it.
I heard you doing a little. I heard you doing a little day drinking again today.
A little day drinking today. What is going on?
Let's go. The roles have switched. All of a sudden, you're the bad one. I didn't have any cocktails.
2 days, I'll be a bad guy. 2 days, I'll be the wild man.
I love it. Well, good to be back together. Appreciate everybody that was patient with us the last couple of weeks. Again, it was a pretty crazy, hectic stretch, but thanks for putting up with us, and we'll keep it together for as long as possible. So, thanks for listening.